Well, it has been a long time since I told you about my life. I guess I'll start from the beginning. Elise and I got married in August after she graduated. We eloped, and our parents, especially her parents, kind of freaked out, but they managed to deal with it. She started her one-year nursing assistant program in September. I continued to work at the shop. We got an apartment, and we had a lot of fun decorating it. Life was good for a while. In August the next year, we had our first baby, Kevin. Luckily, Elise was able to finish her program just before he was born. Kevin was great, but he had some medical problems. He had to have 2 surgeries in the first year, and then 3 more before he was even 5 years old. He did physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy every week, so Elise had trouble finding a job as a nursing assistant that could be flexible enough. She started working, but only part-time. Problem was that we were counting on her bringing in a full-time income and benefits. Oh, the medical expenses were getting ridiculous. I had taken out a health insurance policy before Kevin was born, but the premiums cost us a lot, and it didn't cover everything well enough. We were going crazy about it then and thought it couldn't get any worse. When my buddy's shop went out of business, and just like that, I was without a job. I never saw that coming. I was totally shocked. We ended up moving back to my parents' house to save money, but that was a disaster. My dad walked around giving me that "I told you so" look, and we had to keep Kevin quiet and out of things. I looked for a job like what I had. I figured it wouldn't be hard, but the ones I found did not pay nearly as much, or they required special training that I didn't have. By then, Elise was able to pick up her work to full-time, and my mom babysat for Kevin when we were both gone. That helped a lot, but I still couldn't come up with a decent job. I took one of the lower-paying mechanic jobs and just kept looking. Then, we found out that we were going to have our second child. I didn't know how we were going to afford a second child, but it was worse than I thought because Elise was having problems and had to go on bed rest for 4 months, which meant no working for her. I felt like we were taking 1 step forward and 10 steps backward. In May of that year, our daughter Bethany was born, thankfully with no health problems. Elise went back to work. Finally, all was well, or so I thought. By then, I was 24 years old, married, had a 5 and a 1-year-old, living with my parents, and was trying to climb out of a deep debt. Elise and I had discovered a new friend: credit cards. We found that we were able to delay paying many of our debts by paying by credit card. This gave us time to make more money and be able to pay off some of the medical bills that were breathing down our necks. It didn't take long for our credit card bills to be maxed out, with a total of $90,000 between all 8 of them. I had trouble sleeping at night. My old hobbies of fishing, playing games with my friends, skeet shooting, and watching movies became a distant memory as I took on 2 jobs. I barely had time to see my own children when they were awake, because I would be gone for 16 hours a day working. The final blow came when Elise asked me for a divorce. She moved out with the kids to live with her parents. She said that she couldn't cope with all of this anymore, and though she loved me when we got married, she regretted that we had even gotten married so young. I was crushed, broken, overwhelmed. The interest on the credit cards was mounting, and I had no idea how to recover from all this. I found that going out and drinking at night helped to numb my pain. Before I knew it, I had yet another obstacle to battle: alcoholism. After 2 years of digging myself into a pit, someone that I barely knew from work got me into a rehabilitation program. After that, someone I met at rehab told me about an aircraft mechanic training program that was starting that month at the local technical college. Of course, I was intrigued. Then he offered to pay for my tuition. I couldn't believe these people that were nearly strangers that wanted to help me. Unfortunately, the program required that I had a high school diploma, so I decided to work to get my GED that year and do the aircraft mechanic training the next year. 3 years after lots of hard schoolwork, working long hours at low-paying jobs, and a slow wilting away at my huge credit card debt, I managed to get my GED and aircraft mechanic FAA certification. I even got a job. I couldn't believe that I was finally able to start out making $23 an hour. I loved what I was doing. I found a financial advisor that helped me cut up my credit cards and decrease my credit card debt, and after several years I was able to start actually saving some money for any other storms I would likely encounter in the future. I only wish I could have had that training at 18, when life was much less complicated. I guess it is hard to realize how important financial security is when you are 18 and have never had to live without it. Lately, I've been feeling like it is my time to give back. It's funny, I never felt like I had anything to give. I always was receiving from others. I feel like God has now given me the gift of wisdom after all that I've been through. I've spoken to the principal at my old high school, and I'm going to be a speaker there to students and hopefully prevent any of them from taking the same path that I did. I'm hoping that I can inspire them to realize that they need to work hard when they are young in order to build a strong foundation for their future. That way they can weather the storms of life that are sure to come. I found out that taking shortcuts gets you nowhere. I always felt that I was so unlucky. Bad things just kept happening to me. Then I read a quote where Thomas Jefferson said, "I am a great believer in luck, and I find that the harder I work, the more I have of it." And it's true. Now I have a great relationship with my ex-wife and kids. My parents are proud of me. I have a great job, and I feel security for the first time in what seems like forever.